let go of the past, and manifest the reality you desire. It's time to expand your consciousness and create a new enlightened transformational you by raising your vibrational frequency. We will talk about ETs, light ships, the ascending human, our ascending planet, visitations, and first conscious contact upon our new fifth dimensional Earth. Welcome to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. It's time to activate a better you by embracing the white light of Source. Now your host and universal guide, Joanna L. Ross.
Good morning. This is Joanna from Universal Unity and the Universal Light Wisdom and Healing Centers. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's so nice to be back. Thank you for all the lovely emails, the texts, and the beautiful frequencies that everybody sends in through our social platforms while I have been away. I've been checking the social platforms here and there and posting lovely pictures of my trips. So thank you so much for all those, always tuning in. And I always feel your vibrations. We are a soul family and a tribe family. So just know that you're always felt and you're with us in all ways. And so, yes, I am back. We've just returned from Hawaii. We were in the beautiful island of Maui, and I had some beautiful experiences there, which is the culmination of a few energetic shifts that I'm moving through right now. My team is allowing me to create another DNA activation. So let's just hope that my words come out in the way that many people can understand. I feel as if I'm transitioning into a whole new frequency realm. And so I feel much of my energy in other frequencies and other threads. However, we're going to bring forward some information today that may also be something that many people are moving through with these profound changes that we're all sensing, these undercurrents of our beautiful planetary shift and the transitions that we're all moving through. So we're going to go through some of those energy updates, the collective energy updates. And we're also going to spiral within what we know to be true about how eternal we are and how that creates a beautiful human essence of eternal love and eternal joy and eternal bliss, which is the focus and intent that we're going to ground into the beautiful sands and soils of Gaia, into the beautiful heartbeat of all that she is, as she supports and as she is in union and marriage with us, and how we can co-create in this beautiful union and marriage through some really important reminders about grounding and about anchoring your frequency intent, which is really, really important over these next few months and few years in particularly. But just know that you're always exactly where you need to be when you need to be there, as long as you're aligning yourself with your highest and your most divine path, aligning through your divine sacred heart and acting upon your excitement, acting upon your joys, acting upon your bliss, and allowing yourself to truly soak within what it means to be eternal and what it means to be a beautiful new human moving through such profound transitions of exploration. And that's where we want to intend these frequencies, dear ones, because we are truly shifting into something new. And we're going to present some ideas today. Joanna, I did not really have anything prepared. I'm shifting into an entirely new vibration. And so I'm doing things in a different way. Truly, I am. And so I've prepared a few things, but nothing that we may or may not discuss today, but there's some really important reminders that we're going to get through just because there are dates and timelines attached to those. So we'll get those out of the way before we go into our eternal topic of love and joy. We've got a beautiful in the number frequency today. I think this will be show number 83, if Tina can confirm that, because we've missed a few weeks. But I think today is the number show 83, and today is a number 11. That 83 works out to a number 11. The vibrations of numbers have hit me in a big way this morning. And I just love gematria. Gematria is an ancient vibration of numbers and how we have created most human experiences through the vibration of all things, but how our vibration of numbers is connected with all that we are. And so gematria is a very ancient study of that. And so I always work out the gematria for presentations, for classes, for sessions, and so on. And today it's show number 82. Okay, so that's a number 10, which is another beautiful number. I had it as number 33. And so we're spiraling within that vibration as well. But our date today works out to one of my favorite numbers, and it's 1117, and that's the numbers that it works out today. But if you add all those up, it's number 10, which is the number of our show. So either way, we're working in the vibrations of 10 and 11, which are profound number vibrations, and it's sensing in the frequencies that we're going to move through, which is you and the God self of all that you are, you and the master that you're creating yourself to be, the mastery reflections that you're showing yourself in our moment for moment life, and how that's going to reverberate back to us in these celestial alignments, the planetary galactic alignments, in what we've got upcoming in the lunar eclipse, August 7th. We also have another eclipse that's coming on later on in the month, solar eclipse, and that will be on the 21st, if I'm not mistaken, as well as the Lionsgate gateway, which is the 8th. And so we've got really big celestial alignments, we've got big energetic alignments, and we've got the galactic alignment of the 0808. And we will be holding a class for that gateway, that ceremony and that celebration, in which we anchor all that we are as a transcending human, as an ascending human, and we're allowing those vibrations to be felt and known to the all. I've always considered the gateway to be a human calling to the all that is, a human vibration of love and communion and entanglement and first contact in every way that we put it out there. Many of our classes are invocations. They are initiations in which those that so desire to entangle and dance that frequency come forward in that soul tribe vibration, and we anchor new experiences of intent. We anchor new experiences of soul communion, of soul love. And so the 0808 gateway is not only a profound energetically felt, because you can feel it in every way with these really big shifts that are coming up, but we also imbue it through our anchoring in our communion and our gathering in oneness and in love and in unity. And so that we will be offering a class on the 0808, and Tina has the link up there for that. And if you prefer to go to our website, it's universalunity.ca, and the website name will be changing soon, but either way, you'll be able to find us through Universal Unity. And that is on our live, our Sacred Temple class page, Sacred Temple Teachings. And that's on the 0808. We're doing it on a later time period so that we can catch all those in Europe as well. And that will be at 5:55 to 6:55 p.m. Mountain Time, my Mountain Time, where I am. And then on the 14th of August, I'll be in Japan for 2 weeks doing a series of workshops, a series of what I've been teaching and immersing myself in lately is the energetic mechanism of what we've known and what we've been teaching and bringing forth, known as the divine inner temple of light, and how we use these divine inner mechanisms and these divine energetic mechanisms to create and co-create and move about these beautiful transitioning higher dimensional realities, and how we can co-create as the masters that we are. And that's what we bring forward in all of our teachings and all of our classes and all of our shows, so that we can create this beautiful umbrella in what so many have found confusing with the entanglement and the variety and the modalities that are being offered, which is truly wonderful. However, we want to create a beautiful umbrella of all ascension and enlightenment teachings to be held with under the Christ consciousness, the light body of who we are becoming, what we activate in all of our moment for moment reality life. It can be expressed through Reiki, it can be expressed through crystal healing, it can be expressed through an infinite number of ways and modalities, but it is still activating the Christed light body, our most perfected human form in an ascending feature, if you will, and what we call our mastery level. Because truly it does take moment for moment mastery, understanding who you are as a multidimensional being, the 4 lower bodies that we often talk about in all of our shows and classes, so that we get used to rebalancing and refining choice through all that we are. And we can't understate that enough. Because if there are imbalances and if there are those realities that feel and appear to be skewed with chaos or drama or anything that you may be experiencing or viewing for yourself, remember that you are creating those views, you are creating those perspectives. The higher aspects of you are showing them to yourself so that you can go within and create a refined frequency thread that you can then begin to play upon and have it review back to you in another frequency, in another way. And it's constant. It's a beautiful, constant, revolving crystal of all that you are, changing and shifting and changing and shifting and changing and shifting, and why you are eternal. It's a constant wave of evolution. that you show yourself who you are in that crystallized moment, that you have allowed yourself to know that you are eternal, ever shifting your frequency, ever shifting your decision, ever shifting your open heart. To become a grander version of all that you are, that grand eternal you that requires no definition. So we're going to take you there today. We're going to allow you to swim there today. But this August 8th portal, this gateway that is coming up, will be the grounding and anchoring of this, the eternal human, the transcending human. And it can be anything and it can be everything, because it is, and you are. And so swim and dance with us today, dear lighted ones. And thank you again for tuning in. And the etheric chambers are swimming and very excited with us today. Today is a new day. It's a different day. The energies feel different because of a few activations I've been moving through, and I've been acknowledging and claiming and accepting of myself, my grand eternal self. And so there's great celebration in the chambers for me to come forward in this way and to bring grander self-love through my heart. And as it does, a grander audience, if you will, if we can call it with volume, coming forward from all over the universe to co-create with us in this moment of now, because there's also many of you that have gone through your transitions and going within and doing your daily path work and allowing yourself to see your reality from the master perspective, the higher self perspective, and allow yourself to see, well, where am I in this, and how can I create greater self-love and acknowledgement and acceptance, so that that oneness within me is always that foremost vibration that I put forward. And we're going to take you there too with a few examples that I was musing about before the show. And so we have Japan, the 14th of the 14th to the 30th, roughly. I'll be in Japan, and we've got some beautiful workshops that we'll be doing there. So if anybody can make it over to Japan, and if you're living there and in the Asian seaboard, please come and join us, because I'm absolutely positive there will be some beautiful entanglements and some beautiful divine experiences. And then September 3rd, we will be in Victoria, BC for an all-day channeling event, and we're going to create some beautiful ceremony in the gardens there as well. Coming up, though, on August 11th at 11 a.m. in the morning, 11, I'm doing another telecast with a Straight Talk for the Soul with Carrie Murphy. And I just love Carrie. She's a beautiful soul. And she's very vibrant and colorful, very beautiful light energy. And she's a wonderful host that brings many authors and enlightenment teachers and ascension teachers forward, and creating this beautiful platform that she does. And it's a beautiful global platform that many people from all over the world entangle with for of the moment energy, frequencies, and teachings. So please feel free to join us on Carrie's network, Straight Talk for the Soul. And it's a free telecast. All of her stuff is free for those that tune in. And there's also replays. So be sure to listen to those, because we bring forward new information. And like today, I had the intentions to prepare a few things which came forward, but I was truly just soaking within moment for moment now, because I'm not able to think any farther these days. It's quite a task to do anything outside this moment of now. And so that's how I know I'm shifting, and in a very big way. And so I appreciate everyone's patience as I've been moving through my huge energetic and physical shifts. And so let's get right into it. As I said, we've got some beautiful celestial alignments that will be felt. Make no mistake about that. This coming up month of August will be a profound month. And I'm sensing that in the next 2 years, the sensing of the next couple of years will be very big for our human family, will be very big for our human collective, will be very big for our planet. This segue of August, and September has always been a very big month as far as the Christ consciousness energy. September is what I see as kind of the new rebirth, if you will, in how I'm sensing it intuitively. However, there's always a rebirth in every moment. But as a collective energy, if you will, September will be that beacon, if you will. However, August is that culmination of emotional energies that we're all going to be swimming through, based on the celestial alignments, based on the gateways that we're going to be offered and the portals. And it's all due to the consciousness that we have set as a collective, the energetic and ascension agendas, if you will, that we have all accepted and agreed to in our soul contracts and our divine soul contracts and our spirited contracts as we move about our human experience. And the agendas that are also moving at a galactic and a universal frequency. And so we all understand that they're much bigger pictures. And this is why we feel the sensations that we do and why they culminate. And August will be that culmination month, so that September comes and we're creating that beautiful ignition of the canal, if you will, of that birthing stage. But August is kind of that culmination point where those energies and those frequencies will be amped up and vibrating in such a way that we truly go within and create that emotional balance. And I see really August as being that portal to really creating emotional balance. And that's part of mastery. It's part of the 4 lower bodies that many, many, many of us, because of coming here intuitively, that etheric balance that was so gifted to us in our incarnations. But because of the consciousness was not quite ready, those emotional needs and desires were suppressed and depressed. And so emotional experiences will be a part of August. They'll be a part of that rebalancing. They'll be a part of that refinement. It also goes to Gaia as well. We're talking about Gaia in particular because Gaia's frequencies will go through her own adjustments and her own frequency states of refinements. With the grids that we've had adjusted from spring, we're going through a set of refinement, if you will. And we can call it timelines, but it's more about refinement of energy frequencies within collectives. And so we're starting to sense and we're starting to feel in our everyday life, you're feeling as if you're letting relationships move forward and move on. You're allowing yourself to see, well, I'm not really excited in this area of vocation, but I want to move over here perhaps. And these will be felt in a much more dynamic and clear way for the month of August, because you're getting in touch with your emotional needs and your emotional desires to serve the soul, to serve the spirit. And nothing will quench that other than following your authentic truth self. Allowing yourself to be open in that way and to truly make those decisions that allow your mastery to come forward and play without compromise. And so we see these energies building into your mastery so that you're being, if you will, gently nudged by the divine to truly take ownership and truly take responsibility and truly take that self-acceptance and appreciation to start acting on your gifts, to start acting within your vibratory mastery, to start acting within your authentic, heartfelt self. And so many have put their divine gifts on hold because there was a lack of self-confidence, the self-confidence that allows you to take those steps into creating a healing vocation, or perhaps thinking that you might not be able to read energy as others, and you're comparing your path with others, you're comparing your ascension unfolding with others. And so all of these blocks about who you think you are as a divine eternal being of light become the challenges that you transcend. Those are the human imprints that we're transcending in every moment. And this is why your mastery in knowing who you are as eternal being of light, infinite, limitless, no boundaries, no boxes, and you create refined choice within that mastery to truly start stepping within and acting within it and just begin. And so August will be these energies for us to propel us in a whole new way as a collective family. And why those that gather will find beautiful synchronicities and beautiful energetic creations from the heart center about why you're being propelled in a certain direction or why you feel as if you're being magnetized in a certain area or arena. And so follow it. Follow it, follow it, follow it. Your higher self, your teams, you know what you're doing. And allow the human paradigms of the old that we're stepping out of. And I really truly see it as if it's like, the beautiful little, you're on this beautiful paddock, this beautiful grass, and you have all these beautiful little wave pools. And they're about the height of your knees, if you will. And you're just kind of stepping into one pool and stepping out of another pool, stepping into one pool and stepping into another pool. Whatever those excitements are, and it can be that easy. Your vibrational threads can be that easy and simple. And it's about choosing and choice. And so many have been wavering, and so many have been going back and forth on what their true excitement are, or their self-confidence and their self-worth and their self-knowing about their eternalness, about their self-love and acceptance from Mother, Father, God, from creation. And we're here to tell you that you are loved, you're required, you're needed, your skills are valid, your skills are real. You are hearing and sensing exactly what you should be. And if there are those moments of distrust, if there are those moments of question, if there are those moments of those chaotic things where you see things spiraling around you. That's the higher self of you saying, that God aspect of you, that Christed aspect of you saying, are you sure this is the reality that you want to create with yourself? Because there's a choice right here. If you just step out of that wave pool and you come into this one, it's got a much greater flow for you. And the vibration within the water will soothe you and will heal you and will nourish you. You'll be supported here, and you can just float along if you so desire. What's your choice? So you're shown in every moment. What vibration do you choose to set for yourself, O Eternal One? And how may you swim with the divine? And so in these musings, dear lighted ones, in the eternal you, the eternal love that you are, we allow ourselves to dive right into our topics, because you will be sensing things shift. The undercurrents of our human collective shift very dramatically. And it's based on the perspective that you set for yourself, the frequency that you set for yourself, and which wave pool you decide to swim within and glide within and float within and surrender into. And allow yourself to know that there is divine order, there is divine orchestration in all things. And your attention to who you are at the divine heart center and dropping to the heart, understanding your relationship with Mother, Father, God is always there. It's always eternal. It's always an ember, a fire that's always burning. Never is put out, ever severed. It's always within, glowing and burning just for you. To soak within, to acknowledge, to accept, to embrace, to ignite yourself within it. And part of the illusion that we've had, dear ones, coming in an earthly form, in any planetary form, in our first incarnation from Divine Mother, Father, God, has been that choice and that beautiful experience to say, well, I want to experience creation in a much more dynamic way. So I'm going to choose a separated form, and I'm going to create an incarnation so that I may serve the greater agendas that are infinite agendas of evolution in any one star system, in any one galaxy, in any one universe. But your desire to serve, your desire to experience, your desire to know love, your desire to be love is what propels you to create choice. So in those highest forms of choice, you knew perspectives and earthly lifetimes that you would have in this concurrent now, and all realities unfolding now, like a movie, playing consistently, never ending. And in moment for moment, you see these choices replaying before your very eyes, just different players, people wearing different clothes, different actors, different scenes. But the similar storylines play out, and you see the themes within the lessons playing out before you. And the God Self says, in this particular vibrational thread timeline, dear, how may you choose this time? How may you choose in this moment of now between what you see and what you choose to create? And how will you behave as a master? And how will you create as a master? And if you take a silent pause and a breath, just long enough, and you connect with the eternal thread of the universal mind, the omni-field of all that you swim within, and you delicately allow yourself to move down that thread of pillar of light in recognition of your divine higher self always with you, always guiding you, always moving you and shifting you, allowing you to see synchronicities and cues. And you drop to the divine sacred heart. And your heart now guides you to say, well, before I create choice, I'm just going to breathe here. And what creates the greatest excitement? And what truly do I want to create? What is my desire for creation? And within a moment, you get a vision. There's many things happening in the peripheral, if you will, because that's how we all feel. And we will feel coming up in these coming months and years. There's so much going on the peripheral. And if you will, there are vibrational threads of realities that the all of you, the eternal you, the Christed you, is allowing you to sense and feel and know this is how big you are. And when you are ready, you will see more and more and more of the peripheral vision coming into focus. Does this make sense, dear lighted ones? And so this beautiful field with all of these different pools that you could be stepping into and playing within is similar to this peripheral vision of all of you, the Christed version of you, the eternal you coming into focus as you act upon your excitements, as you act upon your heartfelt love and joy about all that you are. And it does take and require those moments where you bring yourself to center and you ground and anchor because you're one with Gaia. You create that homeostasis, and your choices can be made for the threads and the frequencies that are made from a mastery point of view, a mastery point of heartfelt feeling and knowing and sensing how eternal you are. And we've been saying many things in this way for quite some time about how refined choice and conscious awareness of your choice is so very key. And that cannot be understated in the coming months and years, as it always has been. However, we've awakened. We've awakened to our grandness. We're awakening to new skills. We're awakening to new excitements. We're seeing our societal changes shifting every day based on our consciousness awareness, based on our consciousness excitement to live in liberation and in peace and in harmony. For our consciousness drives all. Our consciousness drives all. It just does. And so we can allow the dramas to be what they are in the peripheral vision, and you're knowing that they're there, and you're allowing your heartfelt desire to create love, to create light, to anchor love, to anchor light. And those are the fields and those are the threads that you play within. And you will magnetize and attract, create opportunities and synchronicities. And this is how we all have our free choice to create. And the higher aspects of you, all concurrent, all now, all eternal, the eye seen through the eye, seen through the eye of God seen through you, and the infinite number of aspects through every viewpoint, every perspective is creation creating itself. And as you create the attention around those vibrations that no longer vibrate in your desire, and we all know what they feel like, those that choose will choose from a state of mastery to create light, regardless of what spins and spirals around them. This is not taking yourself out of responsibility, dear lighted ones. It's allowing you to create with the mastery and responsibility that you have. And this is why we are here. We are here to create. We are here in remembrance of our eternal love to create. And if you take anything away from today, dear lighted ones, may it be that sentence. For you are, even in your most exhausted physical state and form, so devoted to love, so devoted to creation, that you are the all in all ways, sent forward through divine choice of your own, so that you may create in love and in light of all that you are. And how we have come together through space and time, dear lighted ones, through the eons, through the realities and through the suffering, through the joy. And as energy frequencies sort themselves out, they do so based on your intention from your heart. And where will you choose to intend love? And that's the reality you experience. Not one of worry or doubt or lack of self. Create from all that you are, already is. And we call this a state of isness. And it sounds silly and peculiar. Because oftentimes, Joanna brings through these words. Oftentimes, when she does her writing and when she creates articles, these words come up and underline in red. And they're bolded in all of the grammar apps. Because it's a different vibration. It's a new state of being. There are new vibrations in the words. And why each and every one of you feel propelled in some way. You might not know it at first, but something within you allows you to be exactly where you are. For you understand the soul threads are farther than you can see in a quantum way. And it ripples through, and you're just sitting exactly where you are to hear what you need to hear, to feel what you need to feel. And we get that. The state of isness is allowing you to be eternal. It just is. You're eternal to create your new reality. Your eternal magnificence that at one point, we're giving you a visual, in an old perspective of you, allowed you to think of the collective of archangels to be outside of you and separate, dear ones. But this isness allows you to feel it. The collective of their intelligence and their genius and their compassion beyond measure. Within every fiber of your being, pulsing within your veins. And these transitions, these changes, embrace all that is unknown. For it allows you to go to the edge of you and step a little bit further. Step into a new wave pool of light. And that unknown, embrace it with excitement and joy. For you understand that the divine is, it just is within you. Creating that eternal essence. Where you just take that step and leap of faith. For you understand you are the all. That grander perspective. And as you open your heart and just allow these frequencies and emanations to flow to you and through you and for you, the eternal isness awakens something new. So that you don't have to rely upon definitions of old ways and old energies and old perspectives. And you can move within something entirely new. Just to be eternal and blessed and gifted and loved and protected and guided and nurtured. For in all that is, the isness, the void, the all that is, there you are. From the highest frequency of light to the grandest separation of duality and polarity and limitation and fear. For you understand, dear ones, you are threaded in all ways with all things. And in any moment, that eternal aspect of you and that beautiful golden orb within, that God spark, that flame always burning, will align you with how eternal you are, without definition. Profound energies, thank you. Constantly being taken to the edge of what I have understood myself to be. And on these trips of my sacred travels, I have experienced the edge of myself a few times when I've moved beyond my fears, when I've moved beyond what has kept me in the shackles of fear, if you will. I've had fears of heights. I've had fears of falling, different lifetimes and imprints that I'm here to transcend. And when I was in Peru, one of the experiences that I had was climbing up a mountain. And as I said before, that many of these daily excursions, I didn't know exactly what was ahead of me, and I didn't want to know. I went into it with an open heart. because I knew there was things I was transcending and moving into, and I wanted to be in full godliness in every moment. And this one mountain that we walked up in this very special group that I was with, there were absolute moments of fear, and there were absolute moments of other lifetimes coming in and allowing me to feel the sensations and the threadings of those other lifetimes for me to transcend. And in that mastery and in that eternal moment of bliss and in that eternal moment of taking that leap of faith and knowing that my teams and my God self were all present, because they had said to me several times throughout my hike that we're here, we'll catch you. And so moving beyond those imprints that come into our daily life, and they show up as fear, they show up as anxiety, they show up as that feeling in the multidimensional body, and it can be felt in many ways. It can be felt as a fluttering inside your stomach or a nervousness inside your chest, wherever it is felt. It's because of those traumas and those imprints, energetic imprints from very real lifetimes happening right now, that we're here to transcend and move beyond. For we understand that we create all fears to feed the lack of. Fears feed the lack of. That's why we create them. If we're feeling a lack of self, then that fear will feed that lack of self. And that fear will stay there until you create that self, until you love that self, until you gift that self a new perspective of how eternal you are. And I faced my fears in being as high as I was on this beautiful mountain and seeing the structures being created from what I know to be true, tonal vibration and tonal alchemy, how things are shaped and formed by sound and by resonance. And that will be a complete other show. But I saw myself on the top of this mountain looking out this beautiful cave, and across the way was another beautiful mountain. And I thought, wow, how profound. I'm up this high. And I climbed it with my own legs, with my own beating heart. And I allowed myself to see and understand that I created those fears because I did not allow myself to see and to know and to feel and perceive the eternalness of all that I was. The isness of me in oneness with that mountain. The isness of me in oneness with the soil. With every tree that I touched on the way up, every rock that I purposely put my hand upon, to create oneness and similitude and gratitude. Your isness, dear lighted ones, is in all things, and you can transcend any and all fears, for you are all. Each and every one of you have teams of beings supporting and surrounding you, and this is from the etheric chambers as we speak. And many of you are walking around sensing the shiftings, are you not? Many of you sense something's coming, something's going to happen. Many of you sense. Claim it, acknowledge it, own it. But are you as well claiming how eternal you are in the moment of any one anxiety or fear? And how may you create this eternal bliss of all that you are, of your isness? For in any moment that anxiety shows you, you are isness, you are all, you are eternal. The eye of God, seeing the eye of God, seeing the eye of God, seeing the eye of God, creator, 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 through the eyes of the all. Perspective through perspective through perspective. What perspective will you choose to see, to create, to feel, to sense, to be? Do you see where we're going with this, dear lighted ones? For your fears are feeding something. That's where you begin. Face it, acknowledge it. Claim your isness. Claim your eternal birthright to be light. To be light. Ever moving, ever ignited, ever alive, ever eternal. And this experience transcended into another experience that I manifested in Hawaii. And I was excited to take my daughter horseback riding, and she loves horses. She horseback rides every week. And it was something special that I wanted to share with her and experience with her. And I wanted to be enveloped in her passion, enveloped in her love. For I too love horses and I too love earth. But little did I know that when I got to this beautiful ranch, this ranch was on the edge of a cliff. Once again, Joanna goes to the edge. And my teams are having great joy in the etheric chambers, my higher selves and the many perspectives and the eternal me's that are looking on, and all concurrent frequencies and realms and dimensional threads, listening in this moment as I explain this beautiful ranch at the edge of a Hawaiian cliff. And as I got on the horse, and someone said to me from the patio high up above where we were getting mounted on the horses, they said, "You understand there's a cliff there and you're going down that cliff." And immediately those Akashic frequencies that allowed me to say, okay, well, you're creating this anxiety, and how are you going to transcend it, dear? How may you see your eternalness in this moment, dear? And there were often times throughout that trail ride that I said, I'm not feeling quite comfortable with the slope of this one cliff. Can I walk the horse down this cliff? And of course, the guide said, no, trust me. The horses know what they're doing, and so do you. And here I am, mounted upon this horse, heading straight down a cliff. And creation and the universe put something even more befuddling before me. And the guide said, you're going first. But I said, but there's 8 or 9 people behind me. How about they go first? No, you're going first. So I gave Cowboy, which was the name of my horse, I gave Cowboy a loving hug. And I said, I will go where you go. I am one with you. And I know I've lived other lifetimes with you. I will care for you as you care for me. And off we went. And although the anxiety was present, the love in my heart was even more so. And my daughter and the horse behind me was cheering me on as I went straight down this cliff. In what appeared to be a rather large cliff in my perspective. But the horse just took me as if he'd done it a million times before, and he did. But this time felt different. And we went through the trails, and we stopped many times, and we even got into a gallop as my bottom bounced up and down on the saddle. I thought for a moment, wow, look at me. Fears can take you to places that are not you. And in any moment, you tune in and you just drop to your alignment of all that you are, and you'll be taken somewhere greater. And this I know to be true. And I offer it to you as a divine blessing. For there is eternal isness within each and every one of us. It's a particle and it's a light and it's quantum. And it has the most profound eternal power to take you anywhere you desire. The blissful fields of play. Atop cliffs that overlook the oceans. As you feel the summer breeze. And the soil beneath your feet all supporting you in this journey. And so, dear lighted ones, we allow you to drop to your heart once again in breath and in silence. And as your teams surround you and guide you in this moment of love, this moment of belonging, your universal presence, your universal birthing in this moment of now, may you be taken to a deeper depth of who you are, so that you may see your vastness, so that you may see how infinite you are, so that you may sense the divine loveliness and your beauty and your crystalline presence within all things, For those are the divine encodings that is isness, is quantum, is crystalline, and it is love. And in your own unique harmonic song, may you know that within every fear, there is eternal love and buckets and buckets and buckets of beauty just meant for you. As you navigate new waters, as you navigate the uncertain, as you navigate all that may appear to be unknown. And step forward in your bold embrace to be all that you are. For I know this, that as you claim every moment of your eternal godliness, you transcend all limitation. And how divinely loved we are, dear lighted ones. As your teams and as your family stand by in etheric and energetic form, I know that they are with you in healings, and they are with you in these transitions, and they guide you so lovingly and so precisely into your path, your destiny. And as I wipe the tears from my eyes and my face, they are also allowing me to know that a beautiful and wonderful exploration that this earthly life, that this human life provides each and every one of us, and all the reasons why we choose to incarnate in all of the realms that we do, is for this one discovery of our eternal heartbeat within creation. And although we may change form, and although we may change style, and we may change color, and we may change planets and star systems and galaxies, there will always be an eternal heartbeat, profoundly pure in divine crystalline love. And that will take you anywhere. And it just is. So thank you, dear lighted ones, for allowing us to swim in these lovely frequencies of isness. As I shared some beautiful personal frequencies of what I've experienced in my travels, I'm feeling as if this summer has been a beautiful bouquet of bucket list items that I could move through and navigate and transcend and truly understand who I am in this eternal story of our human life, because I've really taken my heart to a whole new place of self-love and self-acceptance, which is my story to come, so that I could share and allow others who are also moving similar stories and also transcending similar vibrations and frequencies. And that's why we're here. And we carve the path, we carve this lighted way, we carve these lighted fields of play, so that we can allow all future aspects of us, all future aspects of eternal you, eternal isness, can come forth and play in new ways. And why we say the words that we do, we create the vibrations that we do in this soul family gathering of love. For we understand those soul threadings. They're allowing us to create a future experience of pure love and pure bliss as we transcend each and every moment of now. And so although we have defined ourselves in so many ways, in so many earthly eons and human eons, allow yourself to bring every definition in to be loved and made whole by you, through you, so that we're not suppressing and ignoring and negating any aspect of all that we are. And we're going to go into that after the break, because there was an exciting vision that I was given. It really helped me move forward in this oneness and this allness and isness frequency. And I'll share it with you after the break. And so we'll move in those frequencies and really swim within profound and divine love of all of the etheric beings that are joining us today. And I just see many, many beings of light and many beings of etheric frequencies and celestial beings and light ships. Really, I see them with you. And that's what I see. I see beings with collectives and collectives of beings with all of us, guiding all of us. And so it's much more evident, and their energies are much more evident than they were in past weeks, through my recent DNA activations and through my recent transitions over the last few weeks and coming back from Peru. The other night, it was interesting. I was laying awake in my bed and just ready to fall asleep, and I felt the beautiful energy and frequencies of the insectoids, and they're beautiful large beings, huge. They fill up the room. And I was sensing this beautiful insectoid that's been with me many lifetimes, just tracking the changes in my body. And they're very analytical beings, and they're very statistical, and really taking in the the scientific study of how I'm moving through these transitions. And I felt their presence in the room, and they're very soft and lovely beings. And it's very beautiful that now we're moving through these transitions, and our veils are much more thin. We can sense the energies of different beings and different frequencies with us. And so embrace it. Embrace what we think to be unknown, and really create a new word for it. Create that isness, that you're already in it, because you are. You're already in these aspects that seem to be so different, because that's how we've defined it. But now we can create ourselves to be it, to be of it. And that's how you create your oneness and your wholeness with it, your isness of it, because it's you. And so we'll swim into that after the break. And just a reminder that we have our beautiful Lionsgate frequencies coming up, our Lionsgate class, where we're going to create lovely invocations and lovely ceremony and celebration for all that we are as transcending and ascending humans, and our allness and our isness. And that will be coming up on the 8th. I have a lovely telesummit with Carrie, and join us on 11th of August. And so take a look at our website, universalunity.ca, and we'll join you after the break.
You've been listening to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness, with Joanna L. Ross. Live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. To explore, empower, understand, inspire, and further connect with this higher state of consciousness, please visit universalunity.ca. For more information on the host, Joanna L. Ross, please visit her KCOR Digital Radio Network show page, Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network. Broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51. Wait, that doesn't exist. This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news. Let go of the past and manifest the reality you desire. It's time to expand your consciousness and create a new enlightened transformational you by raising your vibrational frequency. We will talk about ETs, light ships, the ascending human, our ascending planet, visitations, and first conscious contact upon our new fifth dimensional Earth. Welcome to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. It's time to activate a better you by embracing the white light of Source. Now your host and universal guide, Joanna L. Ross.
Welcome back. Thank you. This is Joanna from Universal Unity and the Universal Light Wisdom and Healing Centers. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'd love to hear from you. For anybody that wants to talk about sacred travel, anybody that wants to talk about the vibrations within sacred land and how it activates us and initiates new remembrances, new DNA gifts and skills, and my love for Gaia and my love for the human family and my love for all that is life, my isness of all that is, and why I get so passionate and I get so enthralled in the loving energies that I'm being shown and I'm being gifted, so that I can project and I can emit and I can emanate to all those who so desire to dance in this pure love frequency of the Christed consciousness, to truly come forward and experience yourself in this way, in your own unique way, in your own unique soul song, in your own unique authentic voice and authentic threadings of how you are threaded within the universe. And we've got a couple of really incredible sharings. Tina has a picture there that she'll put up, and it's of a beautiful bumblebee that I took a picture of in my backyard just before the show. And I often do this. I see things happening outside and I feed the birds. And we've talked about that in my show previously, about my love for nature, my love just to be around nature and just to see it move and exist around me. And as I went outside to feed the birds, and I was putting bird seed in the various rocks that we have and the rock formations in my backyard. And there was a beautiful little flower tree, shrubbery, And it was holding some bumblebees that had fallen asleep because of the morning. It's still a bit chilly. And so the bees just fall asleep and they stay there until it warms up, and then they start moving and pollinating and doing their thing. And this beautiful bumblebee was sitting on the beautiful flower petals, and it was just sitting there still, and as if it was just, at the edge of where it was, and just floating in space and time very silently and peacefully. And I just was in awe. It was like inches away from me. So I took a picture of this to show you all. But this goes back to this beautiful experience that I had before the show, and how all of these things are threaded together and it's all one, and it doesn't matter how or when they happen anymore because we're all one. It's all happening now. But after I saw the bumblebee and I fed the birds, I came in and I was preparing for the show, and I was preparing the energy fields in the space, and I was attuning into the frequencies of the etheric chamber and all of the lovely beings that we gather with. And I was gifted a beautiful vision of the eye of God, and we all know that the eye of God is the creator symbol of how we create as divine human transcending beings, and allowing ourselves to see ourselves as the isness of the eye of God, if you will. And we go into this further in our monthly classes and how to create and manifest in this way. And this vision that I was gifted was the eye of Horus, or the eye of God, if you will. And it was three. It was 1, 2, and 3, one in front of the other, or one behind the other, or one in front of the other, however you choose to see it or to define it. And then in front of the very closest eye was the bumblebee. And this bumblebee was sitting as if that first eye was my eye. And then there were 2 other eyes behind that eye. And to me, it represented Mother, Father, God, seeing through me, creating life through me, for creation to show itself, the God in me, showing myself, that this beautiful representation and this beautiful symbology of this bumblebee so peacefully, silently sitting there, doing what it does, being its isness of all that it is, innately knowing how it creates life, innately being the profound and powerful symbol that it has represented in all of human history, the bee, and how it's within our even most ancient texts, this beautiful symbol, this tiny little insect, representing itself to me as I showed myself through Mother, Father, God showing me that they were watching it as I was watching it. It was a profound moment. And again, those moments are indescribable, can't define. And in just silent, momentary reflection, I was brought to the infinite and myriad ways that bee symbolizes the journeys that we all take. And how majestic and how peaceful and how momentary, and the beautiful divine feminine powers that move through the symbology of the bee, in its ability to create, in its ability to be still, in its ability to be beauty, to attract, to seek beauty, to create beauty, and the nectar that it creates. And the different variations of that bee, and what each and every role that it takes within our human story and its own insect collective story, and the wisdoms that it holds within it in that beautiful, peaceful, present moment where it was just sitting there, idle, in time and space. And how lucky I felt that this beautiful, simple moment, that Mother, Father, God seeing through me, seeing through my eyes, I was shown the view that I had taken, that picture I had taken in that one moment where I was looking at that bee, was snapshot and gifted to me as a vision so that I could see the multidimensional, eternal aspect of me, viewing it through the Mother God perspective, saying, Mother, Father, God can create anything because it's you. I'm creating this vision, this beautiful, simple vision of a beautiful bee, and how profound it is in our earthly and human symbologies that many simply don't take time to understand or be present with. However, there's not an insect out there that doesn't have this ability to be profound in its symbologies to us, through us, for us. And the bee is just one beautiful symbol that represents the profundity and the majesty of what we are able to create. And in that moment, I created those bees sitting there. There was 2 of them, sleeping silently and so still, creating their sense of isness and that stillness to be within creation. And they innately know what to do. They go off when they warm up, and they go off and they pollinate, and they seek beauty, and they seek color, And they continue to share, and they continue to create, and they continue to pollinate and gift and give. They create sacred geometry in their innate way, in their innate knowing of being isness. Their presence within themselves. Have you ever thought about it? Have you created the idea of what if I was to go inside the isness of that be? What its perspective is, and how it just creates what it creates so perfectly, so delicately, with such profundity. So Mother, Father, God, in that one moment, said, you often think about light ships, dear. You often think about your celestial families and your universal families, but we're showing you something of beauty right here, right now. Can you go within it? Can you swim within your eternalness, dear? That be, dear one, the eternal perspective, how it knows just to create the sacred geometries and templates that it does, to create the nectar that you have on your toast, to create the coloring and the flowers that you adore. So profound. And here we sit. The potential and the opportunity to see the godliness in all things. And to see your isness within it all. And how, in the moment that you do, all anxiety and fear and limitation are illuminated into love. It just is. And that was a beautiful vision that I was gifted. And the beautiful elegance in my activations this morning, in my own private work, in my communion with creation, in my communion with spirit, my communion with Mother, Father, God, and myself, my eternalness. And I had so many beings from all over the universe show me these incredible ideas and concepts about how vast I thought I was. And I sometimes take myself to a planetary level, and then a galactic, and then a universe, and then a multiverse, which occurred this weekend. Because I had asked creation, unveil to me the vastness and the eternalness of all that I am, so that I may drop all limitation and fear, and I may soak within this next unknown step with joy and with bliss. And within a few moments, I was gifted a vision. From the very first breath, incarnated from the divine source creators, Mother, Father, God, I had immediately known and created a download for myself that I was gifted from another universe, a nearby universe, a neighboring universe, to come here and assist with template creation at the elemental form, Davic and elemental form, angelic frequencies. And I was sent here to assist with programs of creation in loving benevolence. And I was sent as what I could only describe as what looked like to be some sort of an energetic worm, if you will. And it was a beautiful, soft and black, gentle feature, traveling at a speed that we wouldn't have definition for. And I sensed and I saw myself within just a split second, if you will. And it allowed me to see another perspective of all that I am. And I was gifted a new story perspective, a new angle of the crystal that I am. And how my desire to create, my desire to be in love with creation, regardless of universe. And I was happily sent through choice, through the divine orchestration of the co-creators of universes and the gods that are the co-creator of gods, of gods, of gods, of universes, of universes, of the multiverse and omniverse. And the divine orchestration that goes farther back and farther threaded than we can imagine. And I was gifted as a beautiful thought form to the divine creators of this universe, sent here with the intention and the beautiful divine gifting to be a part of creation of elements. So that through the act of love and through the act of emotion and thought form, I may create and ignite something new. An elemental geneticist is what I was called, but not in those words. And I would create through love, through the eternal knowing that as far and as big as the family is, dear lighted ones, you come forth to create. And it may not matter the levels or the dimensions or what we call ourselves or how we define it. For the isness is all, always, alive, eternal, now. And does it matter where it started? Does it matter what definitions we've given it or what stories we've played out in the roles we've played? What matters is the creation of love now. And you'll gift yourself these threadings in great times of transition so that you may know your profundity, your eternalness, your isness. So far and so grand. If you can allow yourself to let go of the definitions and the structures and the boundaries and the boxes you've placed yourself within, and truly let go and soak within the galaxy, within the omniverse that's within you, and that is you. And so thank you, etheric chambers and the frequencies that swim with us today. So I'm very grateful and I'm very blessed for the initiations that I've gifted myself and the path work that I've allowed myself to take myself on. And I'm allowing myself self-acceptance and self-appreciation in these moments. So sometimes the words that I say and how I say them are going to be a little bit different because I'm allowing myself to swim within new frequencies of self-love. And so I honor this in myself and my appreciation for all of you that have come together as soul tribes. And they're showing me that we've come together as soul tribes to move through these transitions together. And so we're allowing each other to swim in the frequencies of familial love and familial knowing that we are all eternal, and all these other frequencies that we're communicating and communing within. We all know it. We've forgotten it momentarily here and there. But at any given time, we can create mastery to go within and create that eternal oneness and that eternal isness, the eternal love of all that we are as divine beings of Christed light, multidimensional, creative, eternal beings, and why we can soak within it and allow all storylines to play out, and all that we are is a part of that. And the more that we bring it in and to create that oneness allows the transitions and the light to be created in new templates and new fields of play. And we wanted to talk about some experiences that I've allowed myself to create about oneness, because it was evident in some of my exploration and the greater awareness that I gained from my path is I really pay attention to the words that I say and the thoughts that I create, and the energies that I create, so that I can refine it and then expand into wholeness and into oneness. And while I was in Hawaii, I was gifted a beautiful symbol, and I'll put it, I'm going to be doing a class on this, and it's called Interdimensional Galactic Light Language. And so interdimensional light language, if you will. And the galactic is just the frequency that I was sitting within in my meditation space. So we may or may not keep the galactic word there, but interdimensional is what I was gifted. And this interdimensional is preparation for Earth moving into the galactic community, into our interstellar community. And I was gifted this beautiful symbol that was the first symbol that I was gifted, was a picture image, was a glyph. As we've said before, many of our communications will be glyphs, will be symbols, and they will hold stories within those symbols for us to then co-create with. And this beautiful symbol was the interdimensional symbol of peace. And so that we can become a part of this interstellar family, this intergalactic, interdimensional family that we're now opening up to. Because first contact and first landings is, as we say, around the corner. Each and every one of you will experience your familiarity and getting ready whether it's through your dreams or your visions or your sensing around your house, like I is sensing the insectoids, and I'm sensing all the beautiful beings that are with me at all times, the archangels and the various beings that are always with us, this beautiful Syrians and cetaceans. And in this idea and concept of peace, I was immediately brought to this symbol that I was gifted. And then in my dialogue and in my downloading, I was immediately understanding a myriad of interdimensional councils and beings that had come forward in a council, if you will, the star council that we had talked about many months ago. They come together and they say, well, we create these stories and these glyphs based on our stories that we've had as separate planetary star systems that are now moving into an integrated whole community. Just as Earth is moving through our type of ideologies of separation, we're now moving into new paradigms of love and unity and oneness. And so we're gifted these beautiful symbols and these beautiful stories of energy just by one picture. But know that these energies are connected and entangled with that one picture, with that one image. And I was immediately aware of, not all because it was a lot of information, but I was gifted with immediately the energy of these different planetary star frequencies and their perspective of what this symbol meant in their planetary view. So let's just give you a visual. We'll say that there's 120 star systems, planetary systems with life on them. In this interstellar collective, there are 3 or 4 or 5 beings that come forward in their excitement to be a part of this unity collective, this interdimensional star interstellar collective, where they also help, and they help evolve, and they help grow, and they help shift, and they help assist other planets that are also moving through transition. And we've talked about this in shows, and I've written articles, and there's YouTube videos about this. And we've discussed them in previous channels. And so as we're awakening to our interstellar, our intergalactic family, we're now being presented with the vibrational stories that they've created through their own transitions. And we're kind of being welcomed into the family, if you will, symbolically. And this one image, the first image, of course, is peace. And it's all inclusive of love, because if you're loving, you're peaceful. And there will be other symbols, but this is the one we're focusing right now is peace. Because humanity, to open into the arms of our galactic brethren, must understand peace. Peace is directly related to your ability to be one. To create that wording and the definition, we've said it over and over again, and it's been used to the point where we lose sight of going within and truly creating oneness and how to do that, because it's a different vibration and it feels differently. We'll take you a step further. When I was gifted this symbol, I immediately felt the perspectives of these other star planets and what their views and perspectives of this symbol was. That immediately opened up my perspective, my unique perspective of all the Earth lifetimes I've had, of all the symbols that I love, of all of the things that I've given myself excitement for, and I immediately started coming up with my own perspectives of this symbol. And I created the concept for myself from a higher self perspective that this one symbol was the encasing of hands coming together in a holding, the fingers entwined with one another. And in the middle of those hands being cupped was the presence of that God seed of love. And this is what the symbol represented to me. And I'm telling you this story before the even symbol gets drawn and created by our graphics person, because it's very important for what we're going to say next. When you create for yourself, and it can be done in any way because we're all unique, we're all individuals, and you're all creative sovereign beings of Christed light. When you go forth into these beautiful transitions and these beautiful alignments of opening your divine sacred heart to all of your universal family, your universal isness, your universal eternalness, a very important concept that we must imbue and thread and be, because we already are, is creative enveloping of what it means to be one. And in those practices, in those vibratory shifts, and you will feel it, you'll sense the opening up into grander dimensional fields of play. And I'll give you an example of what happened to me. After I was downloaded this beautiful symbol, and I played with it for a while, and I integrated, and I reflected upon it, and I imbued it, I then said to myself, well, I understand that I've had separation, and we're still moving through these moments of transcension. I understand that. I acknowledge it, and I accept it. So I'm going to give myself for the next day any moment where I view, I perceive, I think, I say anything that is separate, them, they, over there, not me, that's not me, I judge that, I judge this, I judge that. I'm going to view that symbol and I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to say that is me. I'm one with this. How may I love this and create oneness with this? And that's very powerful, because anybody that sits in front of their computer and they go to the home page of whatever it may be that they use as their mail page, whether it be Yahoo or whatever it is, because we're so bombarded in every moment with so many different frequencies and so many different things. This is why we are masters. You turn on your TV and you're bombarded with the same thing. In any given moment that you're seeing something or perceiving something, you're creating how it means to you and what it means to you. And immediately, most often than not, there's judgment there. Most often than not, because that's the patterning that we've come accustomed to. That's why we're here. To transcend that is to allow all of the moments hereafter to be in oneness and imbue and embody and hold hands and create that God seed within to be one with it. And then you will allow yourself to truly see and envelope the love that is required within you to heal that aspect that's come to your attention. And we're taking you out there really far today, dear lighted ones. And we're going to talk about this more and more and more and more. Because it's a powerful practice that you can do as you're moving about your everyday life to truly align you with your eternalness, your oneness with all things, all beings, all aspects of life. Because we often say that we are one. However, we are all transcending judgment. We are all transcending those patterns, those egoic statements, those things that we say and that we do that have been patterns. However, a master can choose to alter a pattern and create light in any given moment. And this is what we are being introduced to. This was just my own perspective, my unique eyes, seeing this symbol and perceiving it so that I can practice in my own way how I view my oneness, how I feel my oneness. Because remember, we're multidimensional beings of divine living light, that beautiful golden orb that sits in the middle of those beautiful hands that are cupped. And that love feeds both parties. That love is both parties because it's you as well. You are the God seed, you are both hands. So in anything that you choose to bring unity to, all things, allow yourself to view it in whatever way that you can. Create a symbol for, create a fun little practice with, and those that are healers and those that are coaches and life coaches, you can practice these things. Create your own beautiful creative play. This is why we are here, transcending into brand new dynamic paradigms. We are transcending all separation. And what aspect of you created that judgment when you saw that thing flip across your screen? Go in and love it. Bring in that love and go within to see that God spark, that eternal fire that is always there, always. That beautiful orb that sits within the hands that will always be carried to divine light, always be carried to source, always be carried to your divine heavenly family. When we act in oneness, when we act in unity. For we understand that we are eternal beings of divine living light, and we are all things. And so this idea and concept of oneness and unity can take us in a myriad of directions, and we can play with it in a myriad of ways, and we're supposed to. Because as we introduce these intergalactic symbols and stories, galactic stories, there's vibrations held within the glyphs. And why I was able to perceive the different planetary frequencies within what it meant. I didn't know the names of the beings that brought them forward, and it doesn't matter because we're all one. But I was immediately gifted what the perspectives were of this symbol and what it meant to them. And there was an infinite more perspectives of what that one symbol meant through them. But that was just getting me going so that I can then go within and say, well, this is what it looks like to me. This is what it feels like to me. This is the energy I'm getting from it, from my own unique perspective. Because as we're awakening to these beautiful communications and glyphs and these beautiful symbols that you're gifted in every day, whether it be a bee, whether it be a beautiful dragonfly, whether it be whatever it is in your reality, there is an infinite and eternal webbing of communication that, as we said earlier, the eye of the eye of the eye, showing you how threaded you are. And this glyph was a way for me to understand that as I open myself to this, I'm allowing myself to see, to experience, to feel, to be that multidimensional unity energy vibration that I was seeking. Because I knew that I was making judgments. I knew that there was those judgments coming forward as I was moving my computer screen and I was seeing images and I was seeing what was going on in my reality, and I was creating those judgments, those words. And so to be in your mastery, your eternal state, and we've said this many times, and there's been definitions that we've all given. And we're creating that separation to those that will ascend and those that will not ascend, and that's still creating separation. Those that will go this way and those that will go that way, they're still creating separation. Do you see what we're saying here, dear ones? We may be getting down to the particle of particles here, but that's what's required to create oneness and wholeness. And that beautiful orb of that burning, beautiful golden God light is still you. And so allow these beautiful teachings and higher dimensional wisdoms to come and soak with you and just be with you in a moment of time, that when you feel or sense an anxiety or a fear or a judgment or a word that comes forward before it's spoken, go within and say, well, what is the higher perspective? What is my God eternal self showing me that I can go within and I can love this? Because we've all walked the paths of every human. At this stage of the game, we have. And there's a beautiful YouTube video that we put. It's called The Whispers from Heaven. And it's on the Awakening Our Truth channel. And it's also, I think, on our website. And it's really all about allowing ourselves to be compassionate and to be open and loving and unconditional in our oneness and in our eternalness to all aspects of life, because they're all, every single one of us, we're all moving through transition and we're all following our unique path. And sovereignty is really about the allowance in any state for them to create their own path and walk it and to be healed by their own path. We can always be, if we're asked, to guide and to assist with what we know to be true, but it's still up to each and every individual sovereign being to create their own healing and their own mastery of choice. And that's what's so important that I've learned over the last couple of months, is that it's mastery of choice to choose the vibrations that we've given words to, but it's really the vibrations of oneness. And that prepares that open field, that prepares that next frequency portal, that you're transcending into a whole portal of realm, a new frequency of dimension. And we can truly let go of the fear and the anxiety, because they're still all us. It's still all eternal. We're still never ending. We're changing form. We're changing, whatever we want to put words to. So we're really taking you out there because this is how it will be, really fluid and flowing. And, we've tried so diligently to move away from placing anything in a box and placing anything in smallness, because that's what's kept us in limitation. And so to create that compassion and that unconditional love for everything that you see, to create that love and to send those loving light vibrations to those things that you had judgment about, to do it within first, so that any vibration and emanation that goes forth from your vessel, your multidimensional vessel of light, that it's done so with consciousness, with awareness to the all, because it's you. And so these are very profound, simple wisdoms, dear ones, coming from the etheric chambers. But just know it's your eternal bliss and your eternal love of it that allows it to present itself through you. The eye of the eye of the eye. And that allowed me to see things in a really, really out there perspective, that as I was shown this beautiful vision of Mother, Father, God and their eyes, and then my eyes seeing the beautiful bumblebee that I saw, it was like, well, everything that I see, they're seeing as well, because they're in my heart. There's a partnership that never fades. They see all, they know all. And so in all those moments where I create that separation or that lack of self, specifically in my path, I've created such dense and such traumatic lack of self. And it's a story theme I came to play out and to transcend, so that I can at this point create the profound, passionate emotion that I do in front of my soul tribe, so that we may, as if we're sitting around a beautiful fire in our tribal community, and we're moving into these new dimensional potentials, and we've prepared the land. We've prepared our tribe. We've prepared one another with one another through our stories, through our symbols and our gifts. And we're allowing each other to take this beautiful cosmic wave of light into something new. And the emotions just come forward. I'm just so happy to be eternal with you. And all that I am flows with you, so that you too may see, so that you too may feel and be the eternal bliss and loving aspect of all that you are, transcending moment for moment for moment, being moment for moment for moment. And we feel so very blessed to be with you in this way. And so we thank you. In grand appreciation of Mother, Father, God, and creation and all things, and the divine heavenly lightship teams that are with me every day, without fail, as we came home from Hawaii and Peru, I've taken pictures of the beautiful lightships on the short distance off the plane, in the sky, and they all create these beautiful formations, and their formations change because we play, and I entangle with them, and I ask them to create these beautiful formations in the sky for me, and we play together, and we create that beautiful entanglement, and they're always with me in every beautiful moment. I go to the window and I look for their presence, and they often laugh because they share with me, we're right here with you. You don't have to go to the window. And that just allows you that other perspective of the eye within the eye within the eye. And so that you can understand how we truly are experiencing the eternal, multidimensional spiral of creation, that each and every one of us has impact and requirement and value and purpose to create within. And so if you must, we're moving in so many beautiful, lovely threads of divine eternal love. But if you must listen to this over and over and over again, please do so. For they are emanations from the divine heavenly frequencies that move with us in the etheric chambers in all ways, really, through the heart of all that I am, allowing us to see in any given moment how infinite we are, and how loved we are and supported we are, and how, if we so choose, can go within and be that eternalness, that isness, and be one with all things, regardless of what appears to be presented to you, whether it's the very edge of a 1,000-foot cliff, going down horseback on a horse, and it wasn't a 1,000-foot cliff, but the mountain was about 1,000 feet off the water, and the trails came very close to the cliff, and it was for me, it was steep. It wasn't as steep as Peru, but I was on a horse. And my horse's name was Cowboy, and I just absolutely love Cowboy, and I embodied his beautiful, loving energy to take care of me, and he beautifully took care of me through the trails. And my daughter was laughing because, she was just like so second nature with this beautiful horse, and she ran. She got the horse to a running state, a galloping state, I guess. and other people were galloping, and I was pulling up the very end of the pack. I went first to begin with, but I ended up being last because that's it's where Cowboy and I wanted to be. And so we really had a great time, and we enjoyed. I let him eat grass along the way, and so it was really lovely, and we really had a beautiful time entangling with Gaia and the frequencies that I was able to open up to, and really soak within the divine feminine. I was telling Tina at the break that the Maui frequency for me in Haleakala and the vibrations of the beautiful people there, they're just so friendly and just so heartfelt. They're very open at the heart in Hawaii, the people that are natives there. It's just so friendly. And it felt very removed from North America. It really felt as if this beautiful tropical island that really had its own energies, truly. And really the energy that I felt coming back from there and what I've been opened up to today was my validation, was the divine feminine mother energy, being the heart chakra of our earth. And I really felt the divine mother come through me this morning in my own personal work, and I was validated in that way. And so it was quite moving and quite profound. And I'm just very grateful, and I'm very blessed to be a part of the earth energies and the human family energies in that way. So thank you. So feel free, if anybody wants to send me an email or a note. I think Tina is on Twitter and all of the social platforms. If you want to put a comment, if you want to send a question or anything about ascension, anything about sacred land, anything about ceremony, or if you're joining us in the class, send in your excitement. Really open up your heart and allow yourself to float within this beautiful eternal energies that we're moving with today, in the beautiful, loving number vibrations of today. It's one of my favorite numbers that we're moving with. They all are, really. I always say that. And really move within what's coming up with these beautiful August alignments. And how can we get anything more profound than August? August is a number 8 month, the infinity cycle. Again, showing you how eternal you are. The infinity symbol is all about that. And if you want to take a look at the bee picture that I've given Tina, I think she's got it up there with all of the other links with Japan and with our Lionsgate event, as well as our Victoria, BC event. The Victoria, BC event will be on September 3rd. It is a long weekend, and it's in Victoria, BC, so there is a ferry that you take from the mainland to get to Victoria, or you just take a flight, or if you live there or you're local, Victoria or Seattle, then it's quite easy to get to by ferry. It's a really quick ferry from Seattle. And we're doing the actual event is going to be in the horticulture gardens. And so there's going to be a beautiful array of flowers in bloom, because potentially Victoria is very nice in early September. It does rain a lot, but usually early September is very, very warm and very, the flowers are just all in bloom. So it's going to be a beautiful day to take in the lovely energies of the botanicals. And we will be doing a meditation and an initiation ceremony on the grass. We're not sure where, but we're going to pick a beautiful segment of Gaia that she's gifting us with. And for those who so desire to partake in that, I think it will be our first kind of outdoor moment where we're going to all gather and we're going to appreciate Gaia and give love to Gaia as we're opening to her energies and her frequencies, and we're going to ground them and anchor them as a group. So that will be my intention moving in there. And so thank you, everyone, for connecting with us today and allowing us to really go within the symbologies, because a lot of what most people will be sensing with these changes and transitions in the energy frequencies and the grids and the shifting, and we call it a realignment, a recalibration, if you will. It's kind of a refinement of consciousness frequencies, and that's why we say these. There's other people that are explaining them as timeline shifts, timeline splitting. So there's a myriad of names and definitions for it. We call it a refinement. We call it a recalibration, if you will, of frequency, and they're threadings of frequency. And so it will create the reality experience for you in whatever way that you're choosing to ignite in any given moment. And that always has been the case, except now we're aware of it. Now we're masters, and now we're choosing refined choice moment for moment for moment. But what we're saying is that with the symbologies in all of these refinements, for me, what's been more evident more than anything in the last 2 months is that I'm much more aware of the eye of the eye of the eye, and why it was such a profound symbol this morning, and why it's good to share that with you, so that you can also see that in any given moment, you're showing yourself versions of threadings and particles within you that are allowing you to say, I'm going to come in and love this. I'm going to give myself a little bit more love in this way. I'm going to accept myself in this way. I'm going to create self-acknowledgement this way, or self-appreciation, or self-honor, or creating sacredness within myself. Because truly, this is what it's all about. It's about going within and creating that self-love that is so unquestionable and unwavering that it transcends all things, and that all that you perceive will be that frequency. Yes, there will still be things that you're moving through. Yes, there will still be things that you're shifting in and out of, because that's evolution. It doesn't matter what realm you're working within. There's always going to be something for you to transcend and move within and move beyond, and just soak within, So, I mean, it's an infinite number of ways that we could look at it, but we have defined it in a way of, that separative type of dogma. And even in ascension language, just because of the words that we have, we're becoming much more attuned to, well, how have I been defining it so that it's creating a separateness, and there doesn't need to be. It's just allowing you to see the grander perspective of the bigger picture, the all that is, the eternal you, and allowing you in any given moment to create that empowerment to go within and say, well, I can create this. I can allow myself love. I can give myself embrace. I know what sacred honor is. I can create that. And that's truly how you're moving forward, and you're shifting, and you're creating, those portals of transcendence, if you will. And you can feel it. When you're creating that unity, and you're looking at the TV, and those judgments no longer come up, but you just see the love, and you see the God in everything. And even on your TV, your computer screen. And where are we creating judgment? When you see things, and you see ads, or you see things that people are sending you, or links that people are sending you, where the judgments come, and the emotions and the energies that are flowing through you in any given moment. Can you catch yourself and allow yourself to soak within the love that you're being offered, and to seek the God in all things? And that's moments of remembrance that shift and change you forever. They just do. That's the isness. That's when you're coming face to face with the angelic frequencies that are you. And that's that moment, that threading. I just call it a threading because it's like a golden thread that links you with that isness. And then you get it. You wake up. It's like you wake up. It's like, wow, I remember that. I remember that isness. It's me. And you emanate that beautiful oneness to all beings. Whereas previously, there may have been those judgments there, and then you go about and you do your ascension work in another part of your daily life. And that's still living in that separated view, if you want to take it from a grander perspective. But what we're saying now is that you can create that oneness and that perspective in every moment for moment that you can. And that's what I learned. And so I'm offering it to those who so desire to truly want to step up and step beyond, and really start to play with this idea and concept of oneness, and what peace, inner peace, truly is. And that sense of love. And I was practicing this at the airport, and I was looking at people, and I was projecting, and I was allowing myself to see myself in all beings, and seeking the God in all beings. It didn't matter what they looked like. It didn't matter where they were going, or those things didn't matter, because I was seeking the God in all things, and that oneness and that unity in all things. And so you can allow yourself these really practical tools that create awareness, big awareness. And you'll see moment for moment that you're just not judging, and you're not creating those moments of separation. And truly anchoring and grounding with Gaia, how important grounding and how important anchoring will be with your multidimensional isness, with your eternalness. And it just brought a reminder up for me to do with the crystalline children and the crystalline blog. I'm going to hopefully get an article out this week, because I've noticed within my children moving through these transitions, and they're also moving through these transitions as well. But because we're not approaching it in every day, I mention it to my kids, and we're bringing forth practices about breath and grounding. But I've noticed that my son can sometimes get, because of his energy frequency, he sometimes he can't stop moving, and he doesn't stop moving because he's just such a high frequency kid. And he's always moving and he's always shifting. And sometimes if he's spending a lot of time energetically out of his body, because it's the vibrations are challenging for him here. And he sees things or he hears things that he's not used to, and it feels uncomfortable for him. We do this etherically. We go out of body a lot during our day. And you can notice it when you forget where you are, or you forget you're in the kitchen and you want to go get something, but you forgot why you were going there. You're etherically traveling, and your consciousness is not fully grounded in this moment. And I've been moving through a lot of that lately. So I'm reminding myself to ground and anchor, ground and anchor, ground and anchor, because we are accelerating. And it's really important for kids to also practice this. So we're putting out that blanket statement for all those who so desire and all those that have kids. Really bring the focus into really grounding and being upon Gaia. And my kids were so happy in Hawaii because they just had their hands and their feet in the sand. And when my son was a baby, and he used to, I knew that he was very highly energetic, and I would ground him and I would ease his anxieties by doing a visualization with him about having his feet and his hands in the sand, and we would play in the sand, and it would bring his anxiety down, and he would be centered and balanced. And so play with this with kids as well, with the sand and the soil, and really get them in that understanding about breath and the importance of oneness with planet, and have them do creative visualizations and play in this way, because grounding is really important. And the more that they ground, the less they'll be bumping into things, or the less that they'll be falling off of couches and things like that. My son, is constantly bumping into things and falling off of things. So that's how you can kind of indicate that grounding the kids and really bringing them to center point, as well as us too. I mean, I've been constantly walking into things, and I'm just etherically in other places. And so allow yourself these acknowledgments and really ground and center yourself in the pillar of light, and visualize yourself in the pillar of light going down into the sands and soils and really anchoring with Gaia's heartbeat. And that will create that symbiosis and that energy of balance within your multidimensional body. And that's what we're mastering right now, is balancing within our multidimensional body. So it's important that we also realize that for the children and have them show us. Get out and play with Gaia. Really, that's what vacations allow us to remember and remind ourselves, and the energy frequencies that we hold in all of these sacred places and these sacred lands and what they offer. So thank you so much, dear lighted ones, from our topics today and our reminders. Again, go onto our website. The Sacred Temple Teachings is on our website, as well as our live events page on universalunity.ca. We also are on our social platforms weekly. Facebook, Twitter, Google, and Tumblr are the 4 social platforms that I go on, and keep up to date with all the events and things that are unfolding. If you want to send me your email, I can attach you with the newsletter gift, newsletters that we send out, and there are special offers and gifts and things like that on those newsletters, special events that we hold or discounts. And we usually send those out perhaps a couple times a month now, because we've had so many interviews and telesummits and radio shows. And we've got 3 different telesummits and radio interviews coming up. And I don't think we'll post them just because we don't have time and things are moving so quickly. But in these weekly shows, I will let everybody know of the telesummits, the free interviews, the radio interviews, and the classes, because we are moving very quickly, and we're booking up into September, October, November right now. So it's moving very, very quickly, and we're so excited to be a part of this beautiful wave, eternal wave of bliss and love and joy. And so too are you. So allow yourself to soak within all that you are. Allow yourself to soak within the beautiful universal families, the universal love, the universal frequencies that are always surrounding you, soaking within you, through you. And as you see all things in life, know that they're aspects of you, allowing you to see yourself and the beauty that you are in all things. So anytime you notice something beautiful, anytime that you notice something divine, anytime that you feel or you're being brought to tears, notice that it's you. And that's that self-love and that self-embrace and that self-honor that you can create with yourself, because it's that relationship with Mother, Father, God, and all things. That's oneness. And so thank you so much. And so join us next week here. I think I'm moving, August 14th is when we're going to Japan. So we're here for a couple of more shows. And then August 14th, we won't be doing shows between that and the 29th. So the second half of August we'll be taking off. But we're here until the 14th. So you will hear us weekly, and you will see us on our social platforms. So thank you once again for always coming out and supporting us and being a part of our soul tribe and our soul family, allowing your hearts to be one with us in this beautiful, loving entanglement of human transition and planetary ascension. So we thank you, dear lighted and dear golden ones. You are masters of divine living light. And namaste.
You've been listening to Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness with Joanna L. Ross. Live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. To explore, empower, understand, inspire, and further connect with this higher state of consciousness, please visit universalunity.ca. For more information on the host, Joanna L. Ross, please visit her KCOR Digital Radio Network show page, Universal Unity, New Earth Consciousness. This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network. Broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51. Wait, that doesn't exist. This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news.